So in the previous tutorial I taught you the basics of if statements in Excel. Now what I want to do is I actually want to show you what are known as nested if statements, and these are if statements within if statements. So let's start out with something basic. Instead of doing the grades initially, which we'll work to, I'm going to start with these numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say that we want to set up a multi-conditional statement that can tell us more than just true or false or give us one outcome or another. Let's say we want multiple outcomes. Okay, so let's say that the particular outcome I want to say is if the number is too low, too high, or just right. And let's say that 3, for all intents and purposes, will be equal to just right, 1 and 2 will be too low, and 4 and 5 will be too high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just like I did with my regular if statement, type equals if, open parentheses, and now the first logical test. So let's do if A1 equals 3, then the output I want to have is just right. Okay, so if it's true, then we'll get that. Now let's say that I then want it to either output too low or too high. So what I can then do is instead of just putting false here, I type another if statement and open parentheses, and then I'll say A1 is less than 3, then the output I want is too low, comma, and then again, just before I put the false value, I can put if A1 is greater than 3, return too high, and then if the criteria don't actually match or fit, I'll just have a return of the word false. Okay, so then I'll close this parentheses, close these, and then finally I'll close my final if statement. And you can see right now that it's returned too low for 1. And I'm going to paste here as we did before. And notice now I'm getting too low, just right, too high, and too high. Alright, now let's apply the nested if statement to these grades here, 50 through 90. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Again, equals if, and I'm going to start high and go low. So if A7 is greater than or equal to 89.5, which I'll set as the cutoff for an A, return the value A. If true. If false, open up another if statement and say if A7 is greater than or equal to 79.5, return the value of B, comma. If false, I'm going to open up another if statement and say A7 greater than or equal to 69.5, return the value of a C. Otherwise, return the value of an F. We'll say we're not going to do D's, we'll just do an F as a cutoff right now. But if you were to do a D, you'd just do another nested if statement. Okay, so F is the final in the case of a false. So I close those parentheses, close these, and close the last set. Then I'm just going to copy and paste in. And notice now that instead of getting pass, 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 did not pass, or A, not an A, I'm actually getting letter grades for each of these individuals. Okay. Now, you can do a lot more with if statements outside of just outputting characters or words, and I'll teach you that in a later tutorial. But this is nested if statements, and these are a very, very useful tool, assuming that you don't have so much data that you have to write an incredibly long statement.